thongs, flip-flops, pluggers, jandals, whatever you call them. Australians love to wear them, don't they? I've got a couple of pairs knocking about. Well, look, putting on your thongs for a game of cricket might be an Aussie tradition. But what if something happened to our backyards that prevented us from wearing the thongs, from walking around barefoot? Well, actually, it's happening. Red fire ants have recently been detected as far as the scenic rim outside of the already established containment zone in and around Brisbane. Stuart Armitage is the president of the Queensland Farmers Federation. Good afternoon, Stuart.
Yeah, how you going?
Yeah, good. Thank you. So are you worried about this latest discovery of fire ants outside the containment zone?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's not good, but it's not beyond repair or eradication yet.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second, but just for anyone who maybe has recently moved to the state or isn't familiar with the story thus far, why is the fire ant such a concern?
Well, for a start, they're not a native, so it's an imported threat. And not only that, it's one of the world's most invasive pests. So, it's never been able to be controlled in other places of the world where it has been brought in through a biosecurity breach. And in Australia, we believe that we have the ability to control them, but we've got to all work together to do it. It's just that it's because it's going to have such a major social, environmental and economic impact across the state that this is one thing that will affect everyone in the state.
Stuart Armitage is with you, president of the Queensland Farmers Federation. Stuart, what would happen if I encountered a fire ant, stepped on one, agitated a nest? What would it do to me?
I never done that myself, and I don't hope I never have to, but yeah, I believe they are quite savage. They're not like a green ant where one will get you and the rest will leave you alone. I think these are more that, if one gets you, there'll be a whole lot more following up behind him. And yeah, just makes it, like you said before, just takes away our ability to enjoy the outdoors that we have got the weather to enjoy so much.
And why is the Farmers Federation particularly worried about the fire ants, Stuart?
Well, we represent a lot of different intensive industries, and one of the ones that we do represent is the nursery industry. And it's a $900 million industry for Queensland, and moving around the stock, their ornamentals, their landscape, vegetable seedling, fruit trees and that, it will become, if fire ants get a foothold in southeast Queensland, it will become well nigh impossible for these people to move this sort of stock outside of that zone because of the risk of continuing to spread fire ants. And, they're already spending money. The nursery industry, it's costing them quite a bit to conform to the biosecurity regulations, even as they are. So that is probably one of the big fears. You've got cane growers now that in southern Queensland that have diversified into value adding with that cane mulch that everyone buys and puts on the garden, and it's a very good product. If the fire ants get hold, you won't be able to buy that because too much risk of continuing to spread fire ants. So, it does have a big threat to a lot of our industries.
Yeah, I see. So beyond just the personal threat of not being able to knock around with the cricket bat in the backyard because you might get stung and have... Are they fatal, by the way, bites from fire ants, Stuart?
I don't... don't quote me on that. You'll have to get someone with a lot more knowledge than that.
Yeah.
But,
certainly nasty.
It's no different to a bee is not fatal to 99.9% of the population, but there will be some people that will be allergic. So, it's those 1 in 1,000 people that we've got to be careful of as well. So, yeah.
And as you say, it's that personal risk of injury, but also the greater injury to our industries and therefore our local economy if, they're quarantined, can't trade, can't sell, can't make money because of these introduced fire ants. Stuart Armitage, president of the Queensland Farmers Federation, you say if the fire ants get a hold in SEQ, I thought they'd already pretty well and truly established theyselves, or is this what you mean when you say there's still hope?
Well, there's still hope because the government is continuing to spend money and they've got a very good eradication program. and it's been beefed up also by the federal government in the last budget.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of money out there at the moment to eradicate it. So the governments have allocated $411 million. So this is how serious the government takes it. It's not as if it's just might happen. They've allocated $411 million to try and eradicate them. And the program, while we're throwing all that money at it, it's not just the money we need. It's everyone needs to be working together. So if you see fire ants or you hear of someone thinks they got fire ants, you need to get and notify the right people. And if we all do our bit, we can do it in Queensland. Australia's the closest any country's ever come to eradicating fire ants. And I think by, your program alerting people to the fact that these fire ants are out there, they're invasive, they're a risk, people will continue to look out for them. And there is a phone number if you want me to give you it.
Please. Yep.
It's 132523. So if any one of your listeners thinks they've seen or got fire ants, ring that number and the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries will respond.
That number again, Stuart?
132523.
132523. If you fear that you have fire ants in your yard, or if you've identified fire ants might be present in a space that you visited, public space, parks, so forth, they've made it all the way to the scenic rim. So, as you say, Stuart, really important to get on top of this problem.
Yep. And we all need to work together. Don't think it's someone else's problem because it isn't. It's everyone's problem in Queensland, and together we can beat it and continue to be able to let our children run around and without fear of getting stung half to death.
Good on you, Stuart. Thanks for the update, mate.
All right, thank you for having us on, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay, Stuart Armitage there, President of the Queensland Farmers Federation. Steve Austin is going to pursue this issue on Drive this afternoon after 4 o'clock. But we were issued with a statement from the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries just in regards to the fire ants and the spread of the fire ants. Biosecurity Queensland spokesperson has told us that the scenic rim detection was just outside the current fire ant biosecurity zone by approximately 1 kilometre, was reported to Biosecurity Queensland by the property owner. The nests have been destroyed. Targeted surveillance continues in surrounding areas. But yes, it is really important to catch any of those outlier nests early so they can be treated quickly and stop. And if you're not familiar with a fire ant, well, have a quick, head to your favourite search engine and have a look. But basically, they are about 2 to 6 millimetres big, coppery brown, dark abdomen. They're aggressive. They inflict a painful sting, and their nests look like loose mounds of loose soil. No obvious entry or exit holes. So if you do see any suspect ants or nests, please take a photo. You can submit it online through the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, or call that number that Stuart mentioned, 132523.